Welcome to Finding Holiness, where we delve into timeless Torah wisdom, revealing the sacred in everyday moments. Join us on a journey to elevate your spirituality and discover holiness in every aspect of life. I'm your host, Rabbi David Kadosh, and together, let's embark on a path of spiritual exploration. I hope you enjoy this next episode. Okay, we are continuing on with the laws of Aksharat Kelim U'Mitbach. We spoke in the last class how the process of Hagala and the process of Libun, but there is a middle stage, there's a middle level that we're going to talk about today. He writes here in Chelek Het, Ha'hevdel ben sirim sheno'adu lebishul she'achsharatam be'agala b'mayim rotchim. The difference between pots, which the purpose of pots is for cooking, in which you need to kosher it through boiling water. Uben tavniot v'shipudim, and with pans or skewers, sheno'adu la'afiyah u'tzliyah, that its purpose is for baking or roasting or she'achsharatam belibun, which we require libun. Shabishul, the difference between the two is habishul na'aseh im nozlim shemerakechim et hatavshil. Cooking requires liquid that softens the dish. V'lachen sheyarei hatavshil nidbakim v'niblaim bakeli be'ofen rach. And as a result, what is left over of this dish, if it's stuck to the pot or if it's absorbed in the kli, it's done in a soft way. Ve'ilu magmat ha'afiyah v'atzeliyah, the purpose of roasting and baking is lemayet et hanozalim, is to lessen and decrease the liquids, right? You want to bake a cake, your cake starts off as a liquid, and your cake is only done when the liquid has hardened, and now you have a cake. Same with other types of baking or roasting. You want to get rid of the liquids. וממילא שירי המאכלים נדבקים ונבלעים בכלי באופן קשה. And therefore, what is stuck on the kli, or is absorbed in the kli, is done in a more stronger, concentrated way. ואף שמושכים את אבניות האפייה בשמן, and it could be that sometimes you coat your baking ware with some oil. So often when you do that, you don't want things to stick onto the pan or whatever you're baking. Still, hafsharatan belibun, to kosher it is belibun, required with the heat of the flame, even though there is some liquids of oil. Because the purpose of the oil is not to soften what is being baked, but rather just allowing so things don't get stuck easily. Therefore, bishlu basir machal taref sheityabesh. Sorry, if someone cooked in a pot treif that became dry, lamrot shebasof habishul kvar lo hayu nozelim besir, you dried out your dish and there's no more liquids left. Hachsharato ba'agalat, still to kosher this treif pot, even though that you did it to a point where there's no liquid left, it's still b'hagala, it's still done through boiling water. Because when it started to absorb the treif liquid, the treif foods, it was done with lots of liquid. And we go through, we always follow what is normally done with that kli, which in this case is cooking with liquid, so it has to be done with hagala, and it's not done with roasting or baking. So therefore, we follow the fact that it was cooked. We cook it with boiling water. We kosher with boiling water. Lefize, according to this, hachsharat machabat ba'agala, you might think that your baking pan, should be done with hagala to kosher it, which is dipping it in hot water. Sheken hashemen shemanichim b'machabat do'ad le'osiv lachluchit b'machal. Right? You have oil, you have liquids in your baking ware, and it's adding a moisture to your foods. This is the difference between baking and frying. When you fry foods, your machavat, and you fry foods, you're adding a lot of oil there. Why are you making schnitzel? because you want your schnitzel to be juicy. Right? You ever tried baked schnitzel? Doesn't taste so good, right? You want to fry your schnitzel because that's how you absorb the oil. All right? You're making it soft. So it seems to be, since the oil in the machavat is actually allowing the food to not only taste better but even absorb more liquid, it would seem that to kosher a non-kosher pan, it would require hagala, like the pots do. Kach sovrim rov rishonim. That's how most of the rishonim hold. V'yesh omrim, and there are those that hold shachsharat machavat belibun. They hold that a pan is done through libun, which requires, like we said, the hot fire. Shehoilu regilim letagen b'machavat gam bim'at shemen, because sometimes we use our frying pan with a little bit of oil. Pa'amim rabot koreh she'ashemen nigmar. Often the oil gets evaporated right away. And now what is being absorbed is like a strong fire. It's smoking hot. Sometimes you use your pan and they tell you don't put your meat there till it's smoking hot, meaning all the oil has pretty much absorbed, but your pan is smoking hot. So therefore that would require libun to kosher. And more than that, like I mentioned, some people you don't even use oil. You just you have those cast iron pans. You just want it to get hot, and you put your steak up. So therefore, maybe the pan has the din of a tavnit, and therefore it would be require libun. So we have two ways of looking at it. Do I look at it as that I add my frying pan? I add a lot of oil to make my schnitzel, so therefore the liquid plays a strong role, and therefore I would kosher it with hagala. Or do I look at it as no, but most of the time that liquid gets evaporated, or sometimes I heat it up without liquid and require libun. Therefore, yesh lachshir machavat belibun kal. We kosher a frying pan with what's called libun kal, a light libun. Hainu chimum hamachavat ala kiraim. I heat up the pan on the stove. Until the point, sheim yanichu ala machavat neyar yecharech. If I was to take a piece of paper and I was to put it on that pan, yecharech, it would singe, it would burn up. Or im matchu al svata chut dak yecharech veikara merov hachom. Or if you were to take a yarn and put it on the edge of the pan, it would rip out of the heat. Shekach achsharata kederech shimusha. That is how I kosher this pan, the way it was used. V'kach gam noach leachshira, sheker medubar bechimu hamachavat shehi reka al otah ha'esh sheregilim letagen ba. And in fact, it's probably the best way because I'm koshering it the way that I used to cook. I'm koshering it on the stove because that's where the frying pans go, empty of anything, and it's just heating itself. Right, like I normally use a frying pan for. So that's the concept of tavnit of libun kal, that it's like a middle ground. Obviously, it's not reaching the levels of 400 degrees Celsius like the libun is before. That's not your pot's not going to get that hot, but it's enough to kosher in these situations a frying pan that was used with oil. Bezrat Hashem, tomorrow we'll discuss some other things.